I know when you're trading a tennis match, whether you're starting out or you've been trading for a while or you're learning tennis trading, it can be really, really difficult to understand what is happening in that game and read that match. So by watching this video, I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to read the tennis match. So it's really difficult. I know it. But who am I to tell you? Well, I've been trading on tennis for years and I've helped hundreds of people get better at tennis trading. I'm Ryan, I'm from Betfair Trading Community.com. If you've not subscribed, please do hit subscribe below so that you never miss any videos like this. So let's get into the content, shall we? So we're going to presume, just to make this easy, that you have a strategy, that you've researched it, and now I'm going to give you the tips. So whatever your strategy is, this works for every single strategy, and whether you've got a strategy to work on tennis or not, you can use these to start getting better at tennis trading, to understand the ebbs and flows of the game. Number 1, I want you to relax. I want you to come to the computer, be chilled out. Don't be opening the laptop, the computer, turning it on, not talking to your wife, not talking to your kids, rushing upstairs, banging that computer on, or getting home, getting the laptop on your knee and, oh, I've got to get this trade on, because don't do that, because you won't be trading in the right mindset. I want you to be relaxed, calm, and concentrated on what is happening and prepared for that trade. Okay, that's number 1. So number 2 is let both players have their service games. This is something that I am a huge advocate of. Massive. I did a video on just this on its own, a couple of minute one. By doing this, nothing is lost and everything is gained. Everything is gained. I'm going to talk about body language and patterns on this video. You get to see some of that by letting both players have a serve, so you can see how that player is fired up or not, or they look positive or whatever, and they're starting to try and implement their game. You can see whether they hold their service game to love or they get nearly broken and then they come back, and the effect that has on them. It gets you able to trade the game without being at risk. So if you're just going to back a player outright and then they drop their first, then they serve second and the first player wins their serve, and then your player drops their serve, come on, they've been broken, the price has gone crazy, it's not good. Me and Martin had this on the BTC show, where his trading low light of the week was where he backed Halep and she got broken straight away by Serena Williams. Serena Williams was 2-0 up, and it was a bit of a scary one. So that is, let both players have a serve, guys, because the price won't move. The price, if both players hold their serve, you're not going to lose any value. You're just not going to lose any value at all. So number 3, body language. Okay? Body language. Tennis is a game, really is played between the ears. Don't know why I touched my forehead there, but it's played between the ears, in the brain. It's mental. It really is mental. And I understand, guys, because it's all going crazy. The prices are moving and nobody knows what's going on. See through that. Is the player that you're watching or you're wanting to back to hold their serve or whatever strategy you're using, this works for all. Who's positive? What's their body language like? Are they positive? Are they positive after points won? Positive after points lost? Positive on break points? Positive on pressure points in the game, so when they could be broken? Tie breaks? All of those things. Are they positive with the ref? With the line judges? Everybody? The crowd? Are they positive? Because when they're positive, they could be flowing and playing nice tennis, which is key. Because if not, if you're negative and you're not going to be flowing in tennis as much. And as we said, tennis is a game played in the mind. So if your player is looking negative, get out. Or if you're waiting to get in and your player is starting to look positive, it's a great time to back them. Or lay a player if they are looking negative. You know, sometimes you get these really good players looking negative, like when they are having a meltdown. So Serena Williams, Andy Murray, catastrophic meltdowns at times. and they've been leading, and you've been going, okay, they're having a meltdown. I'm going to lay them at a good price because I've seen their body language, I've seen the patterns before. Their body language is changing. The other player is feeding off this. They are now a lot more positive, and they're like, right, fine, bring it on. They're fired up. Look for fired up players, but be very, very careful with a fired up player. Are they fired up and are they hitting the lines? Are they playing the right shots instead of they're that fired up that they're just winding that backhand up and just through the ball and they're just whoosh out? Look for that. Look for these things. What's happening in these pressure points? Are they following my fourth tip, which is patterns? So, are players holding their nerve at crucial points? When they could be broken, are they fighting back? Or is that player breaking them time and time and time again in the same situation all the time? Because guess what's going to happen then? If you spot a pattern like that and this player is getting broken all the time and they're on the serve, you could lay them. Connect what is happening to what you are seeing and what you know about the players. So if they're struggling to hold their serve, what's their body language like? Is it down? Are they, because they're not flowing. They're not going to be on fire if the body language is negative and they're struggling to hold their serve. Which takes me on to number 5, double faults. Are they doing it often? If a player's doing double faults often, what's going on? Think about that and then look at the pattern of what's happening. They're doing it all the time. Look at their body language. Their body language is saying they are double faulting a little bit too much here. Okay, lay them on serve. Think about these things. Pair up what you're seeing with what you think is going to happen, and if it's happening, follow that pattern. That's really it, guys. Double faults, body language, look at it. Number 6. It's a good job I haven't got like 11 of these tips. Are the players sitting the lines? Is the player playing to their strengths? Now, start to build a database of players, whether that's on a spreadsheet, whether you buy something like Tennis Insight, which has notes on players, whether you just do it, simple pen and paper. Start writing players down. Have a book. Index them. Get one of those index books with the ABC, and just put Murray, choker, defensive player, that kind of thing. And talking of defensive players, an example here, Caroline Wozniacki. Fantastic defensive player. She is a counter player. So what that means, guys, is her game is based on countering all the time. So she will counter. She will put everything back at you. Everything back at you. She will make you play 3 or 4 shots extra per rally. Okay, so think about that now. What impact is that going to have on her opponent? And then pop that in a comment below. What you think that is going to have on her opponent. And I'll tell you what that's going to have. They're going to have to run a lot more. She is constantly forcing them further and further out, making them run, or coming this way, then coming that way, then this way, then that way, then maybe this way, this way, this way. She's making you run more, and she's waiting for that weakness where you just hit one ball too short and she's going to come in and go straight around the lines, or whatever. That's what she's waiting for. She's a counter player. So if you're thinking of backing Wozniacki, is she playing to that strength? Think about that. Is that her game? How is the opponent handling that? What's the opponent's body language like when they've ran for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 strokes and they're like, oh, just lost the point. And Caroline Wozniacki's there, fired up, because she is fit as a fiddle like this. Ready, racket up, waiting for you on serve, straight away, bounding to that line like I am ready for what you're going to throw at me. What impact is that having on that other player? Okay, guys, number 7. 7. So I get that people are scared with tennis because it moves so fast. Momentum. 7, my 7th tip is momentum. Look for changes in the mental aspect of people's games. This comes from the body language. This comes from how they're reacting to points won, points lost. If you can look for those changes and identify those changes early, then you're going to be able to lay or back a player based on that. So if you see a player, for example, injuries are a good one here. Now, Key thing to note with injuries, guys, is it's not always the injured player that comes off worse from the injury, because you might see an injured player, damn, but the other player's mental aspect of their game might be, oh no. Some players capitalise on it, some don't. The ones that don't, they're great. So if you're playing someone, you're seeing this game happen, and that player is injured, but particularly worse, they're struggling to get to a backhand or come forward to the net, and that player isn't playing that shot to win the point, that's a red flag. That is definitely a red flag, because why wouldn't they? That player, if they play a drop shot, that player's got to come in. They do that a few times, they're going to screw with their momentum massively. They're going to get the momentum, and they're going to keep going and going and going and going and going. And that player might give in a little bit too soon, or just go through the motions, and you might have a nice trade. But if they're not doing that, that player's now playing on adrenaline. You know, they were injured. They're thinking, oh, this is going to be such a... Why are they not playing to my backhand? It's my weak. I'm weak. I can't get there. I'm struggling to get over that side and get the spin on it. So if that's not happening, boom. Also think about the rain delays. Okay? So the rain delay has happened. How have the players affected? When they're warming back up, who's it affected most? And then you can jump on that trend. So to summarise, guys, it is relax, number 1. 2, let both players have their service game. Number 3, look at the body language. Number 4, patterns. Number 5, double faults. Number 6, are they hitting the lines? Are they playing to their strengths? Number 7, momentum. And then my last bit, just to summarise this whole thing, is assess, 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 assess. So think about the trade that you're going to make. When you've entered that trade, assess. Is that what you thought is going to happen? Is it still looking like it's going to happen? So did you back somebody? Did you lay somebody? What's the body language like? Are they hitting the shots? Who's the momentum with? What is happening on court? Are they hitting the lines? Are they playing to their strengths? All of those kinds of things. And I promise you, if you follow those steps, you will be a better tennis trader. So guys, please let me know what you thought of this video below. I read all the comments, and I will see you on another video.